शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशितारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So this wonderful verse from Nectar of Instruction is talking about how to develop taste in the chanting of the holy name. And this verse, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami is telling that the holy name is very sweet. Krishna's pastimes, activities, Nam, Gun, Roop, Leela, everything is actually very sweet, like a sugar candy. But because we are in a diseased state, like, in a jaundice kind of a condition. So we're not able to taste the sweetness of the names of Krishna. But what is the cure? The cure is to keep on chanting the names, and then gradually we will get taste for the holy name. So let's start with recitation of the verse. We can have some few devotees recite the verse, and then we'll read the translation, and then we'll go to the para. So would someone like to read the verse? This is to be read in the Brahma Samhita verses. So nobody? Everyone is feeling very shy today. Okay. No problem. So we'll read. Syat Krishna Nam Charitadisitapya Vidya Pittopatapta Rasanasya Narochikanu Kintvadaradanudinam Khalu Seva Jushta Swadvikramad Bhavati Tat Gadamula Hantri. Translation, purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet, like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. Okay, so we'll go to the para for today. We have to start reading from this. There are 3 stages in chanting of the holy name of the Lord.
May I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, you can start.
There are 3 stages in chanting the holy name of the Lord: the offensive stage, the stage of lessening offenses, and the pure stage. When a neophyte takes to chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, he generally commits many offenses. There are 10 basic offenses, and if a devotee avoids these, he can glimpse the next stage, which is situated between offensive chanting and pure chanting. When one attains the pure stage, he immediately gets liberated. This is called Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. As soon as one is liberated from the blazing fire of material existence, he can relish the taste of transcendental life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Sudha Mataji, you want to read the next para?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Pranam Mataji.
The conclusion is that in order to get freed from the material disease, one must take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. The Krishna conscious movement is especially meant for creating an atmosphere in which people can take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. One must begin with faith, and when this faith is increased by chanting, a person can become a member of the society. We are sending Sankirtana parties all over the world, and they are experiencing that even in the remotest part of the world, where there is no knowledge of Krishna, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra attracts thousands of men to our camp. In some areas, people begin to imitate the devotees by shaving their heads and chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra only a few days after hearing the mantra. This may be imitative, but imitation of a good thing is desired. Some imitators gradually become interested in being initiated by the spiritual master and offer themselves for initiation. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So let's discuss these two paras and then we'll move forward. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that there are three stages in the chanting of the holy name. The first is the offensive stage, the stage at which, the aparad stage where we are still committing offenses. Then there is a namabhas stage, which is the stage of lessening of offenses. And then the shuddhanam, the level of pure devotion, the pure stage of chanting. So when a neophyte takes to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, he generally commits many offenses. There are 10 basic offenses, and if the devotee avoids these, he can glimpse the next stage, which is situated between offensive chanting and pure chanting. When one attains the pure stage, he is immediately liberated. This is called Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. As soon as one is liberated from the blazing fire of material existence, he can relish the taste of transcendental life. So, the three stages are of chanting. One gradually moves up from one to the other, but the important point that will ensure our continuous progress is the avoidance of apradhas, the offenses. That is why every day we read the offenses in the morning. We're supposed to read the offenses in the morning, because if we do and then we chant, then we are conscious of those offenses throughout the day. So it's not that, it is just while chanting, I have to be conscious of it. No, it is something that we have to really imbibe in our whole being, and ensure that throughout the day we are conscious that these offenses are not committed, because that is going to affect our advancement. That is going to affect the purity with which we are chanting. And if we keep committing these offenses, then we'll just continue being at the first stage itself. And the pure love, the devotion, pure love for Krishna comes at the third stage. So we have to really be working very hard that we are avoiding mistakes and trying to chant as purely as possible. So that is very, very important, because to get liberated, to actually go to that level, it has to be offenseless chanting. And at that liberated stage, that is where the blazing fire of existence is extinguished, where we are protected from that, and that's when the relish of transcendental life actually comes. Then Prabhupada has said that the conclusion is that in order to get freed from the material disease, one must take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So, in this verse itself, the jaundice, the disease, that is our material disease. That is why we are not getting the taste, the sweetness of Krishna's taste. We are not experiencing it. So, the treatment is to keep on chanting. And Srila Prabhupada's movement, the Hare Krishna movement, is giving people the atmosphere. Prabhupada is saying that it is created, this atmosphere is created where people can take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. When a neophyte devotee comes to the movement, there is some faith. And then that faith increases as we go on chanting. Then when one becomes a member of the society. And Prabhupada is saying that there are Sankirtan parties sent all over the world, because this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra has to be spread everywhere, and it is attracting people all over the world, irrespective of their social background or their religious background or which country, caste, creed, color they are from. Even where they don't have knowledge of Krishna, the Hare Krishna mantra is attracting people even from those areas. So, and Prabhupada is saying that in some areas, people just imitate the devotees by shaving their heads or chanting Hare Krishna mantra. But the name is so pure that it has its effect. So even if someone is doing it in just as an imitation, but the imitation of a good thing is desired. So if someone is imitating the chanting of Hare Krishna, they are actually imitating the best thing. So that also helps them. And Prabhupada is saying that some imitators gradually become interested in being initiated by the spiritual master and offer themselves for initiation. So these things are not imaginary things that Srila Prabhupada has written. It actually has happened. And there was one a devotee in America who was actually running away from the police, and he needed a place to hide. So this was when, this was in the early years. So he needed a place to hide, and he saw a group of devotees who were doing Harinam on the streets. He just got into that group, and he was somehow able to dodge the police. With the devotees, he came to the temple also, and seeing the temple environment, he thought that for a few days, if I just stay here, because at that time newcomers were used to come, join the temple, be in the temple. So he just thought that if I come and I can just stay here, I'll be able to dodge the police. When he came, he actually started living. Then he saw that the program is actually very rigorous. They are getting up in the morning, they are chanting, then there is a class, then they are all going for book distribution for Harinam all day. And just a few days in the temple, his heart really changed. And he came to the temple president and he owned up that, okay, I'm not really here for the devotion part. I just came to hide. And the temple president obviously told him that you please go surrender to the police. He did that. But his sentence, whatever he was supposed to serve, was really shortened, and he actually became a devotee. So this is a true story. And in this way, there are so many other stories where people were not very maybe favorable, or they were not really coming with a lot of bhakti in their hearts. Maybe they were just coming, some were even imitating. But Prabhupada is saying that some imitators gradually become interested because Krishna's movement is so powerful, Krishna's name is so powerful, the association of devotees is so purifying that it actually has its effects. Okay, yeah, let's read forward. Yeah, Kripamai Mataji, you want to read the next para?
Thank you, Mataji. Nandatnam.
Pranam.
If one is sincere, he is initiated, and this stage is called Bhajana Kriya. One then actually engages in the service of the Lord by regularly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 16 rounds daily and refraining from illicit sex, intoxicants, meat eating, and gambling. By Bhajana Kriya, one attains freedom from the contamination of the materialistic life. He no longer goes to the restaurant or hotel to taste so-called palatable dishes made with meat and onions. Nor does he care to smoke or drink tea or coffee. He not he not only refrains from illicit sex, but avoids sex life entirely. Nor he is interested in wasting time in speculating or gambling. In this way, it is to be understood that one is becoming cleansed of unwanted things, anartha vinavatti. The word anartha refers to unwanted things. Anarthas are vanquished when one becomes attached to the Krishna conscious movement.
Hare
Shall I
Krishna.
continue, Mataji?
Let's discuss this, Mataji, then we'll read.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Hare
you, sir.
Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that if one is sincere, he is initiated, and this stage is called the Bhajan Kriya. And one then actually engages in the service of the Lord by regularly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So these 16 rounds, chanting on these 16 rounds, then all the four regulative principles are followed. Then Prabhupada is saying that this process of Bhajan Kriya, by this one attains freedom from the contamination, and then the desire for all these unwanted things like meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, all these things actually go away, even to the point where one is able to leave even onion garlic, which in an Indian setting is actually very difficult to do, and tea, coffee also. Very, very difficult things to leave. But then for devotees, it becomes very easy to leave these things because they are experiencing a higher taste. And I'm sure we have seen in our lives and in our lives of other devotees also how the magic of Krishna consciousness works. And I have seen personally one Mataji. She's very, very senior devotee, and she has started very big congregation of devotees herself, and she's very, very decorated in ISKCON. But she used to tell us that she used to like tea coffee a lot, but she got, in the association of devotees, she started reading books. And she said my day would start with tea and afternoon would start with coffee. This is how it was. But as she kept on reading the books, as she kept on reading Bhagavatam, where tea went, where coffee went, everything is gone. So this process really, really works. That is 100% sure. We just have to have confidence and faith that this is actually going to work. And these kind of things which are very attractive to people in general, like eating out or going out for a drink or just having a party, all these things, they become very unattractive for devotees because they have understood that this kind of enjoyment is very fickle. This is very, very for a very limited time, and it is not lasting at all. But the joy of bhakti actually gives so much contentment to the heart There is no place for these things. So it's not like devotees feel deprived or they feel that they have to really pressurize themselves into not eating these things or not doing these kind of activities. That taste itself just goes away completely. Why? Because the higher taste is already there. So Prabhupada says that it is to be understood that one is becoming cleansed of unwanted things. So anartha nivritti is happening. Okay, anartha means unwanted things. So all these anarthas are vanquished from the life of a devotee when one comes to the Krishna consciousness movement. And in our Indian setting, at least, that the meat eating part is not there for many families. For some, it is there, but in Western countries, it was for everyone, and those Westerners who were so addicted to meat eating and such forms of intoxication, who were not following any kind of rules, they just became such pure-hearted, Shuddha, pure devotees by the power of Srila Prabhupada's love, by the power of the chanting. So it's a very, very strong thing. We have to be very confident about the process. Okay. Yeah, next para, Rajeshwari Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Prabhupada
Hare
ki
Krishna.
jai.
Jai.
When a person is relieved from unwanted things, he becomes fixed in executing his Krishna activities. Indeed, he becomes attached to such activities and experience steadily in executing devotional service. This is called bhava, the preliminary awakening of dormant love of Godhead. Thus, the conditioned soul becomes free from material existence and loses interest in the bodily conception of life, including material obliance, material knowledge, and material attraction of all validity. At such time, one can understand who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is and what his Maya is.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so
Hare
much,
Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji.
Cool. Thank you. So Prabhupada is saying that when one is relieved of all these anarthas, of these unwanted things, then he becomes fixed in executing his Krishna activities, because these are the things that are actually pulling us away from Krishna. So as soon as these anarthas are out of our life, that much attachment we'll develop for Krishna. So it's very important. This anartha nivritti stage is very, very important, because these anarthas keep us bound. And Prabhupada says that indeed he becomes attached to such activities and experiences ecstasy in executing bhakti in devotional service. So this is the bhav stage. And this is the preliminary awakening of dormant love of Godhead. So love of Krishna is there in hearts of all living entities. It's just that it's dormant now. It's in a sleeping stage. That has to be revived through the chanting, through the sevas, through the association and reading. And Prabhupada says that thus the conditioned soul becomes free from material existence and loses interest in the bodily conception of life. So, any kind of material opulence, material knowledge, material attraction, that just, there is no interest in a devotee's life for all these things. Even devotees who may have material opulence, sometimes Krishna awards devotees with a lot of material opulence because they use it in Krishna's service. But in heart, they are not at all attached to these things. We see that there are many devotees who are maybe very big businessmen, but when they go for yatras and all, they are totally fine with living in very simple accommodation, sitting on the floor, having prasadam with all the devotees. Their whole life becomes very simple because devotees are not attracted to these any kind of materialistic things. It just that the whole interest is completely gone for those things. So Prabhupada is saying that at such a time one can understand who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is and what his Maya is. So this level is such a wonderful level, right? When you're able to understand actually Krishna's position, what is Maya, what is Krishna, and then that attraction to Krishna is deeply revived. Yeah, the last section, Padma Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji. Although Maya may be present, it cannot disturb a devotee once he attains the bhava stage. This is because the devotee can see the real position of Maya. Maya means forgetfulness of Krishna, and forgetfulness of Krishna and Krishna consciousness stand side by side like light and shadow. If one remains in shadow, he cannot enjoy the facilities offered by light. And if one remains in light, he cannot be disturbed by the darkness of shadow. By taking to Krishna consciousness, one gradually becomes liberated and remains in light. Indeed, he does not even touch the darkness, as confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:31. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Andhakara Yan Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Radhikara. Krishna is compared to sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there's sunshine, there cannot be darkness. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion, the influence of the external energy will immediately vanish. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Mataji. So Prabhupada is saying that Maya doesn't go away. Maya is there. We are still in this material world. Maya is all around us. But Maya does not disturb a devotee once he attains the bhav stage. So that means before the bhav stage, there is still risk of getting affected by Maya, getting enamored by Maya. But at bhav stage, it cannot disturb a devotee because the devotee has understood what actually is Maya, and that means forgetfulness of Krishna. So forgetfulness of Krishna and Krishna consciousness. It's like Maya and Krishna, they're like light and shadow. So once Prabhupada was in a flight and the captain of the flight actually wanted to have a conversation with him, and he asked Prabhupada that why is there so much crime in the world, why there's so much suffering in the world. And Prabhupada said that that is because of forgetfulness of Krishna. It is just like light and shadow is what the if you're turning away from the light, then that is shadow, that is darkness. So, Krishna, if one is forgetting Krishna, that is why all these problems are caused. So Prabhupada is saying that if one remains in shadow, he cannot enjoy the facilities offered by light. Now, it is it's up to us. It is our decision whether we want to be in the light or we want to be in darkness. So that's why Prabhupada is quoting this very beautiful verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is also the tagline for the BTG, the Back to Godhead magazine that Prabhupada started. That Krishna is like the light and Krishna is like the sunshine, and Maya is compared to darkness. So when there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. But as soon as as soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion, the influence of the external energy will immediately vanish. So this is a very wonderful example showing that why is there problem? All our problems are coming because of turning away from Krishna. So, this conscious decision has to be made by the living entity to turn the face towards the light. That means towards the sunshine, which is Krishna. Okay. So, this is the end of this chapter. We'll just quickly, this verse. So, we'll just quickly recap uh, what we read in the very wonderful purport and then also discuss some things about chanting because this verse is, stressing about continuing the process of chanting. Okay. So in this verse, we are learning about the principles of chanting, and firstly, we read about this uh, disease condition that we are in, and just like in jaundice, anything sweet also tastes bitter. So in this materially diseased condition, the name of Krishna, which is actually very sweet, seems unattractive to us. It seems like a burden when we have to chant because we are in a disease condition. But what is the cause of the disease? The cause of the disease is our ignorance, our forgetfulness. We are distracted by Maya. And then also Prabhupada said that we are under a false or bad shelter. Durashraya is the term that Prabhupada used. And we are hoping against hope that, okay, if not this, then at least this is going to give me that happiness that I was running after. And if we look at our lives, we go back and just do a quick recap of all our lives. Definitely, every point we were thinking only if this problem is solved, I'll be happy. Okay, now only if this thing becomes fine, I'll be happy. But then there is always something. That is how this material world is. That is how, that is the nature of this world. It is dukhalaya shashvatam. But we keep hoping against hope that, okay, if not this, then maybe tomorrow I'll find happiness. And in this way we have changed so many bodies, because at the end of the life also we think, okay, maybe in this life I didn't get it. Next life, if these things are there, then I'll be able to find that happiness. So we are actually under this durashraya, we are hoping against hope. And we fail to understand from our mistakes also. And we are forgetting Krishna again and again, and we keep suffering because of that. So, at least now, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy and by the mercy of our acharyas, at least theoretically, we know that we are in a disease condition and we need some treatment. So, at least we should come out of that denial stage that there is something wrong or there is suffering around. Many people, even when they are suffering maybe bodily discomforts, bodily diseases or something also, they don't understand that there is something wrong with this world, that there is something that we need to do to get out of this world. They still want to keep being here and trying to make things work out. But at least we should know that, okay, I'm finally in a disease condition, so I should go and get the appropriate medicine for it. And what is that medicine? What is the cure? That is chanting. So, with care and attention and avoiding the offenses, when we keep on chanting continuously, then Cheto Darpan Marjanam, the cleansing of the heart happens. And where do we get that atmosphere? We get that in the association of the sadhus, in the association of devotees. Prabhupada has given us ISKCON, where we are given all facilities to associate with devotees, to chant and get this cleansing of the heart done. But we need Shraddha. First of all, we need little Shraddha. That's when we come in the association of devotees, and then all the different stages start. But at least that Shraddha needs to be there. And then when we get Sadhu Sangha, then we start with Bhajan Kriya, then our Anarth Nivritti and all these things start happening. But as I said many times before, we all need to have that faith that this process is going to work. Yes, maybe we are not really feeling it right now. And yes, there may many, many struggles that will try to take us out of this path, but we have to somehow try to be in this boat. It is just like, being in a boat in a very turbulent ocean. Yes, the boat will be tossed, and we are all getting tossed. All that is going to happen. But we have to know that the only way to get out of that ocean is to be in the boat, and that boat is ISKCON. So we have to be in this boat. We have to follow all the four regulative principles. We have to keep chanting our rounds and trying to make it very, very good quality of chanting, following the four regulative principles. And in this way, we are taking the medicine. Once we are one is above this stage of anartha nivritti and reaches the stage of bhav, then there is that awakening of the dormant love of Godhead. So at that level, the devotees are beyond the bodily concept of life, which we can see in our great acharyas' life, even now in the lives of so many Srila Prabhupada disciples. Even though they are suffering, if apparently suffering on a bodily level, we can see that their bodies maybe in a disease condition, they have a lot of ailments and all that, but their love is not affected, right? They are still preaching, they are still traveling, they are still, you see that they are there in the morning chanting and reading Srila Prabhupada's books and giving classes, preaching, traveling, all that is going on. Why? Because they've gone above the bodily concept of life. They've understood what is Krishna, what is Maya, and they are totally undisturbed by Maya. Okay. So, in regard to the curing process, the different stages that happen are these stages start with Shraddha. One has to have that little faith. These stages are mentioned in the purport section that we read today. So this atmosphere that the Krishna consciousness movement has created, this gives boost to the Shraddha. So one must begin with a little faith, and when that faith is increased by chanting, then one becomes a member of the society. That's what Prabhupada mentions in the purport. Now, with that Shraddha, when one comes, then what does one get? One gets Sadhu Sangha. This Sadhu Sangha, for giving people Sadhu Sangha, Prabhupada has made centers all over the world, right? So no matter where, in which corner of the world one is, there are always ISKCON temples. Now, there may be some cities where one doesn't really have a temple, but through at least these online classes and through all so many wonderful lectures which are available online, we can still have sadhu sangha. So with Shraddha we come, then we have sadhu sangha. In the association of devotees, we start the bhajan kriya because devotees inspire us that okay, now you're coming to the temple, now you're taking part in the programs, attending classes. Please start chanting. Please start your bhajan process. So, despite this disease, if one with great care and attention takes to the Krishna consciousness process, starts chanting the holy name, starts hearing the transcendental pastimes, then his ignorance will be destroyed. And his tongue is enabled to taste the sweetness of the transcendental nature of Krishna and his paraphernalia. So, this regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness is a must because the real disease is in our heart, in our consciousness, and in our mind. So, if the mind is cleansed, our consciousness is cleansed, then a person cannot be harmed by the material disease. So, that is what Cheto Darpana, that Darpan has to be, the mirror of the heart has to be cleaned by continuous chanting of the holy name. So, Prabhupada says that if one is sincere, if he's initiated, and this stage is called the Bhajani Kriya stage. And in this stage, we are avoiding all the four offenses. We are trying to chant very nicely. And that's the section we read today, that all the attraction for going out, eating out, for gambling, intoxication, etc., all these attractions just fade away. So after bhajan kriya comes the stage of anarth nivritti. So one is becoming cleansed of the unwanted things, that is all the anarthas. So the Prabhupada says that anartha means unwanted things. So anarthas are vanquished when one becomes attached to the Krishna consciousness movement. After anartha nivritti is the stage of bhava. So when a person is relieved from unwanted things, he becomes fixed in executing his Krishna consciousness activities. So here in the stage of bhava, one starts experiencing the ecstasy in executing devotional service. And bhava stage is the stage of preliminary awakening of the dormant love of Godhead. So at this stage, the conditioned soul becomes free from material existence. They lose the bodily concept, all these things that keep one attached to the body. There is no interest for these things at all. So Krishna consciousness is not like, they don't have to force themselves for anything. It just becomes very natural. There's no attraction for material opulence, knowledge, any kind of material attraction is totally gone. And they understand at the bhava stage what is Maya, what is Krishna. So then the last section where Prabhupada says that Maya will be there, but it does not attract a person, a devotee who has come to the bhava stage. And this very wonderful verse that Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hai andhakar. So Prabhupada says that Krishna is like sunshine and Maya is like darkness. So when Krishna is there in our lives, there is no place for darkness. Now, this is the synopsis of the whole purport. Now, just a few points which His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu explains about this verse. First of all, he says that we're talking about chanting, how we have to improve our chanting, how we have to continuously chant. That is actually the medicine for this diseased condition. And we have to know that for any medicine we take, what is more important, the taste of the medicine or the effect of the medicine? It is definitely the effect of the medicine, right? When we are children, we don't like the taste of the medicine, so we don't want to take it. But we are still forced to take it because the effect is more important than the taste. So now also in bhakti also, even if we feel that we are not getting the taste or I'm not getting any taste, we should know that even if the taste we are not getting it, still if we keep taking the medicine, then the effect will be there. And as we get more and more effect, then the taste will also come for bhakti, right? So, like in this jaundice example, we keep taking the medicine, and gradually, when the medicine keeps taking effect, the sweet things will start tasting sweet again. In the same way, we have to keep continuing our chanting, and then gradually, as our anarthas are removed, then we will start getting the taste, the sweet taste of Krishna's name. Prabhu also says that this medicine is given by a doctor, right? And in this example, let's take example of a child who is diseased. So the child is diseased, the doctor gives a medicine. but the doctor will tell the dosage, etc., not to the child, but to the mother, right? The child is unwell, but the mother is told about the medicine and the dosage. And the medicine has to be taken by the child, but the responsibility to give the medicine is of the mother. So the guru is like the doctor. The guru is like the doctor who gives the medicine. He gives the harinam. And in this example, our intelligence is like the mother, and the mind is like the child. Okay, so the guru is like the doctor, the mother is the intelligence, and the mind is like the child. And the medicine obviously is the holy name. Now, the child will not want to take the medicine. The mind will always stop us or always distract us whenever we are trying to chant. So, because the mind is like the child. But the mother still insists and forces the child to take the medicine. So, with our intelligence, we have to tell us that no, this name of Krishna is important for me. So, our intelligence tells us to take the names of Krishna. Okay, so our guru, like the doctor, he gives us a medicine. With our intelligence, like the mother, we have to give the medicine of the holy name to our mind, which is like a child. Okay, because we are right now in this disease condition where we are disconnected from Krishna. If it is left up to us, then many of us, at least myself, we will not want to chant, we will not want to surrender to Krishna. Even though we may be suffering, our mind keeps taking us back to the objects of sense pleasure. Because I mentioned this last week also, that our mind is just continuously looking for enjoyment from one to the other. So the mind is in a habit of hopping. So even when we are doing Krishna conscious activities, it will always try to take us to something else. Even though we may be getting taste, we will get taste, but the mind is just in a habit of hopping from one place to another. So we are not right now smart enough to start practicing spirituality. But when the intelligence is sharpened with Krishna's names, then intelligence will tell us that even though you're not getting taste right now, keep chanting, keep chanting. And Prabhupada says that the real disease is the disease of the heart. So this heart does not mean our biological heart, but it means the place where the emotions rest, right? So it is our soul. That is where our emotions are actually resting, because the soul is the root of consciousness, and the mind is from where we are able to actually, uh, you know, uh, we are able to direct our consciousness. So to give this medicine to the mind is very, very important, because wherever our mind goes, that's where our emotions also go. So that's why this example of medicine, that we have to give this medicine to the mind. Now in this purport, Prabhupada also explains the different stages of chanting. That's the section we started reading today. Now in the first stage, in the Aparadham, that is the offensive stage. But even at that stage also, chanting is giving us some benefit, but the benefit is not so much. In Shuddha stage, even one name of Krishna gives immense benefit, right? But the level of consciousness is important. Like, for example, Prabhu gives the example of an Olympic setting where the person who is shooting with the arrow. So, just one arrow hitting the bull's eye, that is what is required for that person, for that athlete to get the gold medal, right? Just one arrow going to the right place will give the gold medal to this Olympian. But to shoot that one arrow properly, he or she would have practiced for so many years, right? Many arrows would have gone here and there, thousands and thousands of arrows would have been shot. Then comes that one moment where that one arrow hits the bullseye. But at this practice also that they have done over the years was directed towards the bullseye, right? That means whenever we are chanting, yes, we may be in the aparad stage or namabhas stage, but that effort should always be to bring the mind back, to always go to that focused chanting. That's why devotees say that when we are chanting, we should not think that, okay, now I am sitting, all these 108 beats I'm going to chant with a lot of focus. Okay, then our mind is quickly going to take us away somewhere else. We have to kind of trick our mind that, okay, let's just focus on one name, one mantra, one name of Krishna. Okay, one mantra. Then, okay, now let's one more mantra. In this way, we should just give it gradual targets. If we think, okay, full 16 rounds, I'm going to chant with focus in the beginning itself, it's very difficult to be in one place and chant, but it will come with practice. So we have to kind of trick our mind that, okay, you don't want to focus for full 108 beats, no problem. Focus on one, then another one, then another one. And in this way, we should try to keep practicing, just like that athlete who keeps practicing, that Olympian who keeps practicing to hit that one right arrow, that archer. It's not in that in the beginning all the arrows will hit the right place, but the practice keeps happening. So the all those practice arrows also have to be shot with as much focus as possible. So yes, in the Shuddhanam stage, that one name will come which will completely be purifying, but we have to keep practicing to get to that stage. If that archer is just shooting arrows randomly, will they ever get to a point where they're able to hit the target? No. So we should not think that, I can just chant in whatever way I like. I can be watching TV, I can be reading something, I can be talking to someone, and I can just keep chanting. No, that means that we are hitting the arrows in random places. So we have to hit all the arrows with as much focus as possible. That means we have to chant even now, even though we may be in the aparadh stage, but we have to chant with focus. That is what is going to purify us and take us forward. Okay. And at Shuddhanam stage, one gets the target, right? So Aparadhanam stage, we can say that this is a stage where we just start shooting arrows, so it may go randomly. Namabha stage is where one starts aiming at the target with more focus, and finally hitting the target comes at the Shuddhanam stage. But all our daily chanting is meant to take us from the level of Aparadhanam to the level of Shuddhanam. Even in the offensive stage, there is some potency, right? Now, Prabhu gives an example that if we are in a forest and we are approached by an animal suddenly comes. So, if we have a gun in our hand, that will also create some fear in the mind of the animal. And even if we can't really hit, we can't really shoot the gun properly, even if we just hit it in the sky, that sound will still scare the animal away, at least for some time. Okay. So this is the stage of chanting with offenses. But so we cannot just think that, okay, the animal came, I shot the gun in the air, and now the animal is gone. So can we just sit and relax? No, the animal will still come back. So we have to again try to hit the arrow or the bullet properly. Now, in this way, in the same way, when we are chanting with offenses, for some time we may be feeling that, okay, I am feeling a little relaxed, my desires are also getting reduced, but they are not actually going away, right? They are just probably receding for a bit, just like that animal may be receding for a bit. But to actually get rid of the animal, to actually get rid of the desires, all our anarthas, we have to chant with focus, right? That's why, just careless chanting is not what we should be satisfied with. We should always keep working on our chanting. We should have utmost faith in the process of chanting, and we should have this humility when we are chanting, that whatever desires have gone away in my life, that is all just because of the effect of the chanting. Okay. And these desires probably have been checked for a little while. But for these desires to completely go away, I still need to continue chanting. So we should never feel like satisfied. Okay, now I'm feeling very satisfied. I'm feeling very calm. My desires have also gone away. Those things are not agitating me now. No. For the desires to fully go away, we have to keep chanting. Right now, the desires have receded a bit, but we have to completely eradicate them by continuous chanting. Because when Prabhupada is quoting this verse, Krishna Surya Sam Maya Hai Andhikar, This means that, this indicates both the potency as well as the dynamic nature of bhakti. Potency means that when the light is switched on, darkness goes away. So when we evoke Krishna's presence in our heart, illusion and temptation will definitely go away. But this is a dynamic process. That means that as soon as we switch off the light again, there will again be darkness. The converse is also true. So this means that as soon as we become Krishna unconscious, as soon as we forget Krishna, the temptations will again come back. And it is just a matter of time when eventually the temptations can completely drag us down. So it is not that, okay, now I felt Krishna's presence, now I felt pure, I'll just now stop. No, we have to keep choosing Krishna every single moment in our life. Any moment that we are forgetting Krishna is a place for Maya to creep in. So if we choose Maya, then we will go away from Krishna at every moment. And if we choose Krishna at every moment, then we will move closer to Krishna. Okay. So this is a conscious decision we need to make every single day, every single hour, and every single moment of our life. Who are we choosing? Okay, because yes, we may be chanting, we may be feeling a little happy or content in our lives, but to actually have that complete impact where all our temptations are removed from the root, that comes with continuous, determined, and focused chanting. And this chanting of the names of Krishna, Prabhu says a very interesting thing that we say that we're talking about the taste of chanting, right, in this verse. So we are also told that we should chant only for the pleasure of Krishna, but then there is also this concept that if we chant regularly, then we will get the taste for chanting. So is it our taste that we should be worried about? Or should it be Krishna's pleasure that I should be thinking about? So at sometimes it may be a little confusing that am I chanting for my taste or am I chanting to give Krishna pleasure? Actually, Prabhu explains that it is that taste, at the pure level, the taste is the pleasure of Krishna. So devotees who are chanting at the pure stage, for them the pleasure comes because Krishna is pleased by their chanting. So when we chant for Krishna's pleasure, Krishna is pleased. So just like watering the root of the tree, we also feel pleasure. Okay, but then that level, the pleasure at the Shuddha Nam level is a very high goal. But before that also, Krishna gives taste by his mercy. Okay, so there is Rati and there is Rati Abhasya. So sometimes, we may have all felt that if there is an ecstatic kirtan, there is ecstatic class, or a very beautiful darshan, or some yatra, some moment in our Krishna consciousness journey where we may have felt a very overwhelming emotion in our heart. So we should not think that that is just an illusion or that is sahajic. No, those emotions are not necessarily false because before the pure taste comes, there is also the glimpse of the pure taste. So when we get the glimpse of the pure taste, we should not deny that. We should know that this is what I'm going to feel when I'm actually at that stage. So it should not mean that, oh, because I got those emotions, that means I'm a pure devotee now. We should not think like that. But we should know that when I become a pure devotee by Krishna and Guru's mercy, then this is what emotion I'm actually going to feel. So it is Krishna, these experiences should push us towards Krishna more and more. So Krishna gives these experiences to devotees by his mercy. But at our stage, we should not be worrying about whether I'm getting taste or not, whether I am chanting selflessly or not. For us, the important stage is that we should continue chanting. We should continue our devotional practices. Gradually, the taste will come, gradually, the selflessness will come. But the most important thing is we have to practice continuously. Gradually, the mind will realize that, okay, this is actually the place which is giving me the greatest happiness more than any other happiness that I have ever experienced. And that's when the mind will become fixed in Krishna. So, this is how we reach from the stage of Aprad to Namabhas to Shuddhanam at a stage where we can actually relish the sweetness of the names of Krishna. And that's when the disease of material existence gets uprooted completely. Okay. So this is a very beautiful verse which tells us the importance of regular practice. So it's not like I'll chant when I feel like and I'll not chant when I won't feel like. This is what we discussed today. It is not about our taste, whether we are getting taste or any feeling or not. We have to completely focus ourselves in the chanting, because this is ultimately the best cure that is going to take me out of this diseased condition. Okay, so we'll stop here today. If there are any questions, any comments, any realizations you want to share?
Wonderful class, Mataji, today. So many details you told us. Very
Yeah,
nice.
Mataji, all
Thank you,
glories to
Mataji.
devotees and Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, all glories to them. Thank you so much.
Yes, Mataji, today it was very wonderful. We learned what is Krishna conscious, what is not conscious. You said one word, inconscious. What is it?
Yes, yes.
That's
Krishna unconscious. Krishna
Krishna
unconscious.
unconscious, right?
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
whatever it is, whether we have the taste or not, we have to keep chanting.
Yes, Mataji. That's
These
very important.
very important, right, Mataji? These
Yes.
both really very, very wonderful. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji. So that's what I mean, devotees tell us when they tell us with examples like this example of mother and child. So then we can actually relate it to it in our lives that, okay, I am like a child. I don't want to take that medicine, but my guru is a doctor. He has given me this medicine. So I should take it. You know, that intelligence should be there in us. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
That was a nice example, Mataji. Very easy to
Yes,
explain to
Mataji.
somebody.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you,
Mataji,
Mataji.
Chaitanya Charan Prabhu gives these very nice examples, you know, these
Mm.
analogies he gives, they're very, very helpful to
Yeah.
understand. All glories to him. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. So see you all again next week. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Vancha kalpatrubhyascha
Panchakapatruvyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Rupa Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you all.
Krishna
Dandavat
Mataji.
pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Dandavat
thank you
pranam.
so much for a
Dandavat pranam.
wonderful class, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.